So what is the right way to test ad creatives on Meta or TikTok? How much do you need to spend when you're creating new ads? That's one of the most common questions I get when meeting either small brands or marketers trying to improve their ad performances. So I want to show you exactly how should you test your ad creatives, how much should you spend testing, and just roughly how can you expect to make a smooth transition from testing to scaling with your ad account. And if you're new to the channel and you don't yet know who I am, my name is Justin and I'm the founder of PaidAdvertising.com, an e-commerce growth firm based out of Montreal, Canada, helping elevate thriving brands by simplifying e-commerce growth. And why should you listen to me? Well, for one, I'm a Meta and Google ad partner. We've also spent over $12 million on ads in the last 3 years. We're on track to spend $3.5 million on ads this year, and we've worked with over 70 partners. And last but not least, I've now coached for over 7 months at one of the largest community on earth of marketers at Educate. So with that said, let's get straight into it. How to properly test ad creatives. One of the first things I want to talk about, which is probably going to sound counterintuitive to you, but it's spend. It's how much should you even spend, okay? So let's talk about spending in this video. I hate this little purple color. Let's just go with some black actually right here. I think it's gonna be easier to read anyways. So how much do you need to spend? Well, that depends, right? And I'm gonna tailor this video a little bit more to e-commerce, but if you are in the lead gen space, it would work very similarly. So the first thing you gotta think about is your target CPA, okay? So I'm gonna label that target CPA. So how much do you want to acquire a transaction for? If you were in lead gen, it's target cost per lead. So you want to calculate that. Now, how do you calculate that? That's a whole topic for a separate video. And in fact, it's quite long usually to calculate that. But you would want to factor in your margins, your cost of goods, right? Your pick and pack fees, your return rate, etc. And then you'll want to reverse engineer that to know like how much can I spend on my ads to acquire a sale if I want to make some money. Same thing, cost per lead, right? You want to reverse engineer how much is a client worth, then how many clients do I close versus how many leads do I need, and then that gives you your target cost per lead. So now, if you know your target, well, if you want to get results, you have to spend roughly your target, right? Because let's make that clear for a second. If my target is an example, I'm going to throw some numbers. My target CPA is $20. And then somebody asked me, well, Justin, how much can I spend today? If I only have like 10 bucks to spend a day, is that enough? Well, you want to get sales. Your target cost per acquisition is 20 bucks. You have 10 bucks to spend. At best, you're going to get a sale every 2 days, but it's not the best for the algorithm. And here's why. So if I take a look at Meta, okay? Meta has what's called a learning phase. I'll just call it LP, okay? Learning phase is usually the following. So it lasts 7 days and you have to get over 50 conversions in that 7-day period. If I run an ad with an objective to get leads, if I want to exit the learning phase, I need to get at least 50 leads in a 7-day window. Going back to e-com, if I'm advertising for link clicks, well, I need to get at least 50 link clicks. If I'm advertising for purchases, I need to get at least 50 purchases in 7 days, or else I'm not going to get out a learning phase. You want to try as much as possible to get out a learning phase. That will help your ads perform better. If you can't get out a learning phase, that's not the end of the world. Your ads can still perform. Your ads are not doomed to fail, but your performance will be impacted. Your ads would be much more optimized if you can get out of the learning phase. So I'm going to take this example once again. If my target CPA is 20 bucks and I want to get 50 conversions or more in a 7-day window, so what I'll do is I'll do 20 bucks times 50, which is $1,000. So I need to spend $1,000 this week, at least, right? Because keep in mind, that's my target. I might be over target, or if you're lucky, you might be below target. But give or take, you need to spend at least about $1,000 in the next 7 days. Okay, which means, in other words, if I divide it by 7, well, the best way for me to get enough sales is to roughly spend $142 a day, right? Which if I go back and do that on a 30-day basis, it's about 4.2K a month. So for your brand, if you're coming up to me, like how much should I spend on the low end? Well, you should spend at least $4,200 a month if you really want to get a chance at scaling your brand, right? So that's that. Now, what if you're quite a small brand? You perhaps are not even doing 10K a month yet, and you want to start spending on ads. You might not have 4K to spend, and you might not be able to get out of learning phase. Well, then my recommendations falls back on your target CPA. Spend at least your target daily. That's what you should be able to spend at the minimum, because hopefully you're going to get at least a sale a day, which is not enough for you to get out of learning phase, but it's enough for Facebook to have some data. It's enough for you to make some money from it. Okay, so here ideal spend in that case is $142 a day. Okay, that's a number 2, even though it looks like a Z. So $142 is the ideal spend. The minimum is 20 bucks in that case. Okay, it's the bare minimum. You want to be somewhere between, like, if you can be somewhere within the two and you can't yet achieve that, and that's great, right? If you can be above your minimum, your recommended spending, great too. Use that as a range. You should not ever be below that amount in daily spend, because it's not worth your time. You should, like, if you cannot afford to spend this much a day, go elsewhere. Focus on organic, focus on influencers, focus in other avenues to get sales that will cost you less than this amount. Okay, on the flip side, if you're making less than 10K a month as a brand and you are either VC backed or you have some savings from a previous business venture and you can pour more money into ads, then great. You see it right here. This is the math on how much you should be spending on a given day. So that's the first part. To properly test ad creatives, you need to have the right amount of ad spend, because if you're not spending enough on these ads, well, you're not giving them a fair chance. And I see that on the flip side. Okay, as an example, now you're spending $142 a day. That means you're going to get 50 conversions, or that means ideally you get about 50 conversions off of one ad. That's if one ad in your account is spending $142 a day. A single ad is going to get 50 conversions. But what if you have like 5 ads in your account? Well, that's $142 divided by 5 ads on your account. Now, each ad is spending 28 bucks a day. Your total account is like 28 bucks a day. That's perfect, right? Because you're still above, let me just go back right here. You're still above your 20 bucks CPA. So great. Every ad still has a chance to get at least one sale a day. Perfect. But I'm saying, let's say you came up now and you're like, well, I want to launch 15 ads. Well, that doesn't work, right? That doesn't work, because now every ad is spending 9 bucks a day. That's too low. So this is also where the spend comes into factorization. Like here, you need to factor spend if you want to test a certain amount of ads, because if you go with more ads, then it's going to be very hard for your account to sustain that. And I see that mistake over and over again. I'll see accounts as an example, like, and that even happens sometimes with accounts that we have internally. I have to come in and tell the team, like, look, we're having too many ads on this account because they're not able to sustain that amount of spend with this amount of ads, because these ads just won't get the right amount of spend attributed to them. That's what ends up happening, is they just get very low amount of spend and they just can't survive in that environment. So on the flip side, if let's say you're like, all right, good, Justin just told me, like, if I spend at minimum 20 bucks a day, I'm good. I'm going to make a lot of money. So I decided to spend 20 bucks a day, but then I launched 10 ads on my account. Well, each is going to get 2 bucks a day. At this space, if you're lucky, it's going to take 10 days for one of your ads to meet your target CPA, which means you're not going to get any sale within your first kind of 10 days because your spend is just so diluted across all of your ads. That too is something to take into consideration when first starting. So what do? Well, my structure for testing ads, which if you're not new to the channel, you would have seen that. If you're new to the channel, you may have not seen that yet. Looks like this. That's how I structure my campaigns. No matter the industry, I structure my campaigns that way on Facebook. So one CBO is completely broad targeting. You have the main ad set, which is all your winning ads. You have 2 dynamic creative tests, which are both ad sets that have a batch of creative inside. Personally, so whenever you do a dynamic creative test, it's not like I have 3 unique ads inside. It's one ad with 3 variations of it. So I'm just giving Facebook more variations of a singular ad. Technically speaking, it's as if I have 2 ads right here being tested at any given point with all of my winning ads into one ad set. Okay? If I had a new account, brand new account, nothing on there, and I want to start testing new ads, well, I would do 3 tests. Okay? So I would do 3 dynamic creative tests with 3 variations of my ad, 2 pieces of ad copy, 2 headlines. These 3 creatives are, again, the same ad with a small tweak to it. So it basically counts as one ad, because the way that you turn it on, again, you turn on the toggle on Facebook as an example, that is dynamic creative test. On TikTok, that is called smart creative ads. And from there, the algorithm kind of combines all of these ads together and just shows different variations to different people, but it's one ad. So I'm testing 3 ads. Well, in that same case, right? If I go back to my target CPA of 20 bucks and I see my ideal spend is about $142 a day. Well, $142 divided by 3 ads that I start testing with, I'm above my target CPA, which means I should get sales at, like, every day pretty much, which means I should be able to get out of learning phase. Great. Okay. So now I know I can start testing with basically this peace of mind, saying that, like, all right, I know my ads are going to spend enough and get a fair chance at succeeding. So that's the first part. Now that spend is out of the way, let's go into kind of the optimization. So what I do is, no matter how much spend is on the account, whether you're above the target spend, which going back here, let's say you're spending $500 a day. Okay, that doesn't change. It doesn't impact what I'm about to share with you. You wait at least 3 days when launching a new ad, no matter what, even if it's spending and not getting you a result, because it takes time for an ad to stabilize. I gave this example the other day when I was on a call with some coaching students, which essentially was one of my own ad accounts. I was sharing that every time I did a change to the account, I was tracking on a Google Sheet, like the daily results. You could see CPM would rise for the next like 3-4 days. And then you would see like the CTR would go down. And then the overall performance, the objective of that account would also go down. And then it would get back to normal. Like it would just for some reason offset the account for a little bit, which is normal. You're introducing variables into the algorithm. So you wait 3 days no matter what. And then you look at ad spend. Did my dynamic creative test that I launched right here, did it get spent, right? So going back here, did it spend at least 3 times my CPA? In other words, going back to here, did it spend at least $60? Yes or no? If yes, you move on. If the answer is no, you give it a little bit more time. Now, did the DCT spend over the AOV? So depending on what is your kind of target CPA, in that case, I'm just gonna assume we want to get like a 2x ROAS, okay? So CPA is $20, 2x ROAS would mean that, hey, like the AOV is about $40. So I spent 60, which means I'm above target. So yes, I'm good. Okay, yes, let's go back right here. Did a DCT take at least 40% of the total CBO budget and hit KPI? So going back right here, let's say you're spending $100 a day, okay, on this campaign. You have 3 tests. 2 of the DCTs you have has spent $20 each. This one got $60 attributed to it. So $60 attributed to it means it's 3 times above your CPA, and it means it got over 40% of the total budget. Great. That's a good indicator that Facebook thinks, or TikTok for that matter, believes that this ad is a strong ad. Great. Now you keep going. So if it hit above KPI, meaning let's say your goal is to get, so going back to here, your CPA is $20, it spent 60. Your current CPA with that campaign is $18. So you're within target. Great. You take the post ID of this ad, you now create a main ad set, you move this ad into the main ad set, you wait until it starts spending in the main ad set, and you kill it off. Going back to here. If it did spend, so in that case, once again, 3 times CPA, it spent $60, but it did not hit KPI. It spent $60, but your CPA is $30. Chances are, it's not a good ad. It's spending, but it's not good enough. So, simple thing that you do, you turn it off. You turn it off right here, and then you launch a new test in its place. That's all. How do you scale from there? You scale at the campaign level. So that campaign in itself, you just look at it every day. You look at the previous 7 days. So meaning that, like if you looked at a calendar, that 7-day window always slightly moves by 1 day every day. Every day you look at the last 7 days, am I above KPI for my entire campaign? So is my campaign essentially CPA below $20 in this example? Yes, I increase my budget by 20%. If the answer is no, you either decrease by 20% or you maintain essentially until you find a winner. So that's that. Okay, this is how you do creative testing. This is how you essentially test. The first indicator is spend. The second indicator to like when do you kill an ad, when should you how long should you let it live is this. So all of that is dependent on how much you spend. Because if you're not spending enough, this entire cycle is thrown off, right? Like you're gonna have to spend for a longer amount of time, and it's not in favor of you nor Facebook, and it doesn't work as well. So this is how I properly test ad creatives and make sure I give them a fair chance at winning, and make sure that I actually find real winners because they're getting spent and they're meeting my KPI. If you now are an e-commerce brand owner watching this video, you want to partner with a paid ads growth firm handling your Meta, Google, and TikTok ads, click the link down below and book in a call to speak with our team today. I'd love to be able to help you out. And with that being said, I'm going to wish you an amazing day. Check out other videos on the channel for some more useful e-commerce marketing tips, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.